Okay, like I said, that's where it starts. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and chalk it. Right here is your little stowaway compartment. This is where the chalk should be, which is not. Oh, they're inside. So this chalk should be in here though, okay? Right there you can put anything you want. You can put your extra oil, extra airlines, whatever you buy, just so you can have stuff for the road, okay? This is your chalk. You always put it, in this case, it's a 5-axle system, so you're gonna put it between the second and third, depending on where you think you're gonna go, okay? I think I'm gonna roll forward, so I'm gonna put it in front of my third axle. If I felt that I was gonna roll back, I'll put it behind my second axle.
Right, that's okay.
Depending on the level where you're at, yeah. Okay. But if you miss it though, like right now we're kind of pretty much like on a flat surface, that's fine. If I miscalculated, it's only gonna roll as far as to where it's still gonna grab,
right.
Okay? That's why you wanna put them in the middle, okay?
So you only got one chalk, that's it?
Yes.
Okay.
Put it there, put it behind the tire, okay? Boom. Now, you are not gonna go nowhere, because during the test, you will release both brakes. We don't want our truck to roll over. Okay, so now that we started, that's the first step on air brakes. Okay, so right now I can fit, I think, 5 in there. So amongst you 5, go ahead and pick who wants to go in there. I'll meet you on the passenger side. Okay. Hey, bro, the first one, can you close the hood for me, please? Just close it.
Contact, each one contact.
All right, go ahead and close that door. All right. All right, guys, so before we start anything, let me just give you more introduction of what's going on in here, okay? So these are going to be the main important things, okay? These 2 things right here, okay? These are your brakes, your actual brakes, okay? Mm-hmm. These work the same thing like a handbrake for a car. Okay. Okay, as long as they're pulled out, they're on. As soon as you push them in, though, that's it. The only thing holding you back now is going to be your regular service brake, okay? Like a car. All right, so these are your main ones, okay? Next is going to be right here your gear selector. Okay, you got neutral, reverse, drive, low gear. Okay, that's gonna be that right there. Then from there, right here is your gauges. Okay, these are the ones that we're gonna be looking at. Okay, you guys see the number 1?
Yep.
And then the number 2 over here?
Yes.
That's primary and that's secondary. Okay, but we always go off primary for our readings. Okay, this is the one we're gonna use to give the readings for the air brakes. The way this one reads, it goes as follows. Okay, starting from the bottom is 0. Okay. Going up is 50, but in the middle of 0 and 50, right in the middle of those, is going to be 25.
Okay.
Then 50 and 100. In the middle of that, 12 o'clock is going to be 75. 100 and 150 in the middle of that is 125, okay? That's how we're going to read this gauge right here. Remember that too, because that's very important. Now, before we start the actual air brakes test, there's 3 things the examiners only care about. Number 1 is you got to give the name of the test before you start any test. So if you start a test without giving the name, that is going to be a fail on you, okay? Number 2 is you got to give a proper reading. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, don't say, well, it looks like it's around, or maybe kind of like a little bit like, no, don't do that, because they're not going to want that, because they got to grade you for it, okay? So they want you to say it's at 30, it's at 15, it's at 28, whatever it is, just boom, 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 a solid number, okay? Number 3 is you got to say if it's a good or a bad test and the reason why, okay? Those are the only 3 things they care about, okay? Other than that, you can narrate everything else you're doing, all that stuff. They really don't care. They already know how the test works. They just want those 3 things. Those are the main 3 things they want, okay? On the book that we gave you guys, has more explanation because it's explaining to you every step that you're doing. Like turn the key back on at this time, turn it back off this time, pushing this and that. You don't got to say all that. The only 3 things you got to say are those 3 things. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to perform it as simple as possible, straight to the point, just to what the examiners care about. Okay, and you're going to see it's going to take only like 3 minutes. It could be done quick. Okay, but the wording, the reading, all that stuff is very important. If you say one of the wordings wrong, it is a fail. Okay, there's no points here. It's just either pass or you fail. Okay. So from here on out, just say what I do. Just say like I said it, and you'll pass it. Okay.
So how many times you get it? Like if you fail, how many times you get to do it again? Or no? That's a wrap.
No, once you fail, that's it. Yeah.
Oh.
48-hour reset. Try it again. Come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. We want to make sure we pass this and pre-trip.
Right. Okay.
And then because this comes first, then the in-cab that we'll do after, then the service and the tug, and then you go outside and do your pre-trip, and then you go to the skills.
Okay.
Okay. So this comes first. All right. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and start. Okay. All right, examiner. My wheels are chocked. Next is my seatbelt. It's not ripped, torn, or frayed. It's properly mounted, secured to my cabin. It also latches and unlatches properly. I got a primary and I got a secondary air gauge, but I'm gonna go off my primary for today's reading. So I'm gonna put it to the on so I can see where my primary sits. Also, my ABS light came on and off as I turn my vehicle on. My depth indicator is good. I have more than 1/8 of a tank on my depth. Okay, examiner, I'm above 100 PSI, so I'm gonna drop it down to approximately 100 PSI. Okay, examiner, I'm at 100 PSI. I'm gonna turn my truck on. Before I do, I gotta do a safe start. Both brakes are pulled out. My gear's in neutral. My safe start is done. First test I'm performing is by applying air leakage test. Well, first we're gonna do a governor cutout. Governor cut out at 125 PSI. This is a good test because it cut out no higher than 140 PSI. Now I'm going to continue my apply air leakage test. I'm going to let my air settle and let my needle synchronize. Synchronize again. Okay, examiner, I'm at 99 PSI. My minute starts now. Turn on your timer or they will for you. Your minute is up. Okay, examiner, my needle is still at 99 PSI. This is a good test because I didn't lose no more than 4 PSI in this minute. And now I'm going to remove my foot from the brake. My next test is my low air warning test. My light and buzzer activated at 75 PSI. This is a good test because they activated no lower than 55 PSI. And now I'm going to perform my final test, which is my spring brake pop out test. Both brakes popped out at 40 PSI. This is a good test because they both popped out no lower than 20 PSI. And this concludes my air brakes test.